All right, let's dive right into this explainer and unpack the absolute behemoth that is OpenAI's August 2025 release of GPT-5. If you've been tracking the AI space, you already know the jump between generations isn't just about raw speed. We're talking about a fundamental shift in what these models can actually do. With the GPT-5, OpenAI has completely pushed the boundaries of natural language, multimodal understanding, and autonomous reasoning. So today, we're going to tear this down. We'll look at how it works under the hood, the actual hard data behind it, and why it's already completely rewiring entire industries.
What really hits you right away is the sheer scale of this leap. I mean, this is not just your standard point release upgrade. We're talking about a jump to literal PhD-level expertise. Sam Altman himself said that interacting with GPT-5 feels qualitatively different. We've totally moved past that eager but clumsy AI assistant that, occasionally makes things up. Now, we're dealing with a system that sustains deep, highly specialized reasoning across a crazy amount of subjects. It's honestly like having a boardroom full of elite domain experts right at your fingertips.
Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the evolution of GPT-5, check out its new dual-brain architecture, look at how it's smashing benchmarks, survey the broader AI arms race, see how it's transforming industries, and finally, look at the path to AGI.
Section 1. The evolution of GPT-5, bridging the gap. Let's trace exactly how we arrived at this pivotal moment.
So this launch comes over 2 years after GPT-4, which, let's be honest, in the tech world, feels like an absolute eternity. But OpenAI intentionally pumped the brakes here. They really wanted to make sure a system this powerful had rock-solid safety guardrails before putting it in our hands. They dumped a massive amount of compute into this, using Microsoft Azure's supercomputers, and hammered it with rigorous reinforcement learning from human feedback. The goal? Making sure it doesn't just sound smart, but actually behaves dependably. Tracing the timeline, you can see a really clear progression. Way back in March 2023, GPT-4 gave us incredible language and image chops. Then, early 2025 rolls around and we got that sneak peek with the GPT 4.5 Orion preview, right? That started bridging the gap with scaled-up baseline capabilities and some early hints of chain-of-thought reasoning. And that all culminated in August 2025 with the official GPT-5 drop, bringing together massive scale with explicit, built-in reasoning mechanisms. Section 2. The dual brain architecture under the hood. This is where things get super interesting, because how GPT-5 works is a total departure from the past. You can think of this new real-time router as the ultimate AI project manager. When you throw a prompt at GPT-5, it doesn't just blindly crunch the numbers anymore. The router instantly analyzes your request. It asks itself, is this a simple chat? Do we need heavy math here? Do I need to call external tools? And based on that split-second assessment, it seamlessly directs your query to the exact right subsystem. It's totally transparent to the user, but it's an absolute game changer. So how does that actually play out in practice? Well, the system essentially toggles between a fast conversationalist and a deep, methodical thinker. It's a dual brain setup. On one hand, you've got GPT-5 main. That's your high-speed, high-throughput model, perfect for when you just need a quick summary or a simple answer. But on the other hand, you have GPT-5 thinking. This model literally stops and thinks. It does internal chain of thought computations, breaking problems down step by step, exactly like a human expert would. This dynamic routing gives you unbelievable cognitive power without burning unnecessary time and compute.
Section 3. Smashing the benchmarks, the proof in the data. The claims are definitely bold, but let's look at the hard numbers to back them up. 256,000. This massive number is GPT-5's context window. That means it can hold hundreds of pages of text, like an entire code base or a full-length book, in a single session. Remember when GPT-4 had a 32K limit? Yeah, we've blown past that. With 256K, and honestly, some pro users are even seeing up to 400,000, GPT-5 isn't just skimming a chapter, it's reading the entire manual in one go. You can dump massive legal documents, hours of video transcripts, or sprawling code repositories into it, and it won't lose track of a single detail. Just look at this massive jump in software engineering performance. GPT-5 successfully fixes real-world bugs almost 75% of the time on the first try. The SWE bench test is no joke. It feeds the AI actual verified bugs from real GitHub projects and says, fix this. Going from about 52% with GPT-4 to nearly 75% with the GPT-5 thinking model, that essentially halves the gap to perfect automation in software engineering. That is a staggering leap for agentic problem solving. And that dominance extends across the entire board. General knowledge on the MMLU, over 90% accuracy. The notoriously brutal AIME math exam, 94.6%. It's virtually eliminated English bias, holding around 90% accuracy in languages like Arabic, Chinese, and French. And crucially, factual hallucinations are down by up to 65%. Heck, on Health hardest scenarios, where GPT-4 essentially scored 0, GPT-5 surged to 46.2%. It's just incredibly reliable now.
Section 4. The AI arms race, a competitive landscape. Because let's be real, OpenAI is definitely not running this race alone.
As you can see, there isn't one single absolute winner. It's a fierce arms race where every model is carving out a specific strategic niche. GPT-5 is leading the pack in deep reasoning and that dual brain routing. But look at Anthropic's Claude 4. People still absolutely love it for long-form writing and its collaborative coding style. Google's Gemini is flexing hard with its native integration into the real-time Google ecosystem. And Meta's Llama 4? It's pushing the limits of open-source flexibility with a massive 1 million token context window. It's wildly competitive right now, which is honestly fantastic for those of us actually using these tools.
Section 5. Transforming industries. Out in the world. So why does all this matter for you and me? Let's get out of the theory and look at the ground-level impact. In the medical field, GPT-5 is functioning as an incredibly accurate thought partner. Biopharma giant Amgen is already leveraging it to summarize dense research papers and navigate clinical trial Q&A, specifically because the bar for scientific accuracy is so high now. But what's really cool is how it handles tricky, dangerous prompts, like drug synthesis. Instead of just shutting down or worse, giving harmful instructions, GPT-5 actually provides safe, policy-compliant guidance without crossing the line into dangerous territory. It's proactively helpful. For legal professionals, tasks that used to take weeks of tedious issue spotting are now getting knocked out in hours. Take BBVA, a major multinational bank. Their legal team used GPT-5 to condense 2 to 3 weeks of strategic analysis into a single afternoon. That's wild. And thanks to its multilingual parity, it handles dense legal queries in Spanish just as flawlessly as in English. Plus, it strictly enforces instruction hierarchies, meaning you can't easily trick it into violating attorney-client privilege. Whether you're a teacher making a lesson plan or an analyst poring over earnings calls, the speed here is a total game changer. In a live demo, GPT-5 literally built a fully interactive language learning app from a single prompt in under 60 seconds. It acts like an absolute super tutor, deriving complex physics equations step by step. Over in finance, banks are using its massive context window to ingest sprawling quarterly reports instantly, pulling out the exact factors driving revenue, all while sticking rigidly to compliance standards. But perhaps its most mind-blowing feature is what it's doing in software development. It's no longer just an autocomplete tool, it actively architects and debugs entire applications. In one internal test, a user asked GPT-5 to build a small web app. The model planned it out, wrote the files, ran a build, spotted its own compilation error, fixed it, and presented a working app completely autonomously in about 3 minutes. No wonder it's been so deeply integrated into GitHub Copilot. It's basically a highly capable junior developer at this point.
Section 6. The path to AGI. Where do we go from here? With capabilities scaling like this, we have to talk about what comes next.
Now, to be clear, this isn't a magical paradigm shift into true AGI just yet. True artificial general intelligence implies a system that can learn and apply knowledge across any domain, equal to or better than us, without any prompting. GPT-5 isn't quite there. It still needs us to steer the ship. But as Sam Altman pointed out, this ability to reason step by step, to act as an autonomous agent and retain vast amounts of knowledge, it places us closer to that AGI horizon than ever before.
And that leaves us with a pretty profound question about our future with these artificial minds. Are we looking at the last major tool before true AGI takes the wheel? Or are we simply entering a new prolonged era of specialized PhD-level AI agents working side by side with us in every industry? The data absolutely proves GPT-5 is a powerhouse, a dual-brained expert ready to rewire how we work, learn, and create. I highly encourage you to start thinking about how these tools can redefine your own workflows right now. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.